I think it's very appropriate that on Mother's Day, as we celebrate all of our mothers, that we think about that the mother that Jesus entrusted to us, His own mother, as the mother of the church. And you think about Mary's life, and you understand that the gospel lessons really don't, the texts do not really elaborate much about Mary, do they? We know about her in the birth stories, we know about her some in John, and we know very much about what is going on at the end of his life with her at the cross. But to accurately interpret that text, what we need to do is look at what John is doing with it. You realize that when you read that and you hear those words that Jesus said to her, "Woman, behold your son," that St. John, as he is writing the scriptural tapestry, is making the reader of the gospel refer to another story that occurs much, much earlier, at the very beginning of the text. You remember Cana of Galilee? Remember that story? I went into that particular area when I was over in Galilee. But that's the story where Jesus is beginning his ministry, and apparently he goes with his mother to a wedding. Remember that story? And you remember that's the Mad Dog 2020 story. You know how they had all this good wine, and they run out of wine, and Mary overhears the conversation between the head steward about, this is a dismal failure for us. It looks bad upon our host. And Mary says to them, "Go ask the boy, my boy, and he'll take care of it." Well, Jesus tells Mary at that point, he says, "Woman, what has that to do with me?" And notice the connection. Woman at the first, and woman at the end, in both of those stories. And then he goes and he tells his mother, "My time has not yet come." You ever thought about that before? What is he saying when he says, "My time has not yet come"? Well, for John, in particular for John, the time that John is referring to, that is on Jesus' lips, is the time of Jesus' glorification that occurs at the crucifixion. It's not his time when Mary referred to him to take care of with this sign at Cana. But it was his time. In fact, his time is running out when he will be glorified on the cross. And when he tells Mary, "Behold your son," he is telling her, when he says, "Woman, behold your son," that the time of his glorification is now. And her mission to become mother of the church is now called upon her. That's the full impact of that story. And you got to be able to read the gospel and remember those stories to be able to see the mastery of what John is doing at the very beginning of his text. And he ends it